have a special guest on the phone, Nate Eaton with East Idaho News. Nate, man, I miss you in that courtroom. I'm sorry I can't be there with you, but just kind of give us your report for the day, what we just saw.
Everybody's saying, "Where's Justin? Why isn't he here?" But we know where you're at. I would say today was the most, one of the most. Well, we were only in 3 days, but there were definitely a lot of. It's the most we've seen Lori. We saw her passionately questioning the first witness and the second witness, Nancy Joe. Interesting that she decided not to ask any questions. So there was definitely a lot of interest in today's hearing, especially because it seemed to move quickly, and these were personal type of witnesses, versus more official type.
Yeah, definitely mixed it up here, threw us a curveball. We'll get to Nancy Joe Hancock in a little bit because that was wow. But how shocked were you to see that Lori did not want to cross-examine Christina Atwood?
I was expecting a little bit of a few questions at least, but maybe she figured that there was nothing she could gain by asking her anything. It would have been fascinating, the line of questioning she would have gone down, but yeah, nothing from her on that.
And let's get into Nancy Joe now. I mean, that caddy cross exam, how did it feel in the courtroom? What was that energy like? I mean, I didn't expect it's just a woman that Charles was talking to and getting to know as he was separated in his marriage. But wow, that was something.
Yeah, a lot of people saying interesting that Lori was stressing the fact that Charles was a married man and you all were talking about me, but yet at the same time, Lori was having an affair with Chad Daybell. That's been proven in court in Idaho. Nancy Joe was confident. She was calm. When she got off the stand at the end, she walked and looked over to Kay and kind of nodded at her, and then she walked out of the courtroom. I think she definitely held her own. A lot of people were, before lunch, Lori was saying, "Tell us everything you talked about at that dinner." And the judge, after the jury left, said, "Are you sure you want to open that door?" And we were expecting after lunch for Lori to open the door. She said she needed a lot more time for cross-examination, but she went a different direction after lunch, did not open the door, but still, did ask her questions about what they discussed on their date.
And in a sense, this door has been open as far as the dark spirits and the allegations there and the religious aspects. Obviously, that can't be controlled by Lori Vallow Daybell, but I also want to know what you get from her expressions in the courtroom because, we only get one shot from the pool cam, but after she's done with these exchanges, how is she, I don't know, presenting herself?
I would say after each witness today, after the police officer and then Nancy Joe, we didn't see it with the last witness, Lori turned around with a smile. She was confident. She was, I think she felt proud of her questioning. I don't think she was rattled in any way. She felt like she had really done some tough questioning. At least that's how it appeared. She would then consult with her advisory counsel and on to the next witness.
But as we know, any prosecutor or defense attorney would not show their cards. They would have a poker face. Even if they thought they asked the best questions in a direct exam or cross exam, she wears her emotions on her sleeve. The jury is watching her as she walks back and forth, her gestures, and even at times, I mean, what's your take on Judge Boreski? A lot of people have been commenting on his patience through these proceedings.
He has been quite patient with her. And it would be fascinating to hear those sidebars. Of course, we never will. Those are private. But, they go into sidebar. You can see him talking with her. We don't know what he's saying. You can see her getting animated at times, very animated, using her hands and trying to prove her points. And Trina Kay remains calm and collected, so it seems. So, I would say today there were more objections than any other day. The vast majority sustained, but he is letting her get in some. He is overruling some and letting the witness testify to her questioning. The question is, will that continue tomorrow? Adam Cox has said he's going to be testifying on Thursday, and we'll be expected to hear from Kay Woodcock as well. She's been in the courtroom every day, and we'll see what she has to say.
Yeah, that will be huge. I mean, her own brother. Will she cross-examine her own brother and then her former sister-in-law? I mean, that's going to be huge. Now, we had our own issues technically, the pool camera lost audio for 15 minutes in the Christina Atwood testimony. So I just, if you could sum up what the last 20 minutes were like in that testimony.
Yeah, it wasn't just you guys. Everybody lost audio, and we're told that audio will be sent out shortly or tonight, this evening. So for those of you that missed the testimony, it will be posted, I would imagine. Anyway, Christina got into the fact that she was really uncomfortable with Lori saying that she was going to kill her husband, that she'd been crushing up JJ's medication and putting it in Charles's drinks, and that Alex talked about how he wishes he could just kill Charles. And Christina was so uncomfortable that she asked to meet with Lori the next day. And so she went, they met. Christina told Lori, I don't think that that's appropriate. Lori downplayed it. She said, oh, I was just joking. And the amount of medicine that I said I was putting in Charles' drinks, it wasn't really that much. It wasn't as much as I said there was. And that then Christina was not invited to meet with the group again until August. She was invited to go to dinner. And at that point, Charles Vallow had been killed. And Christina had learned that it was a brother-in-law of Charles Vallow. She didn't realize that it was Alex Cox until she learned about it, that it was indeed Alex. And that's when she decided to go to the police to tell them what she had learned from these groups, these group meetings, these castings.
Yeah, and see this group, we know through the Idaho case everything we've learned. I mean, it's a clique, and there's a hierarchy, and obviously the two in power, Chad and Lori, and they dictate. I mean, they even told people like who they were in their past lives. The jury doesn't even know exactly like how influential they were, but what were their reactions to this type of information that we're really hearing for the first time?
The jurors were definitely in tune with these questions, with today. Yesterday, there seemed to be a little bit more dry testimony. One of the jurors yesterday was closing his eyes. I don't know if he was asleep. His eyes were closed. We didn't see much of that today. And you know, they have the chance here in Arizona to ask questions if they want to. And I believe it was the second witness today where they asked a question about, did Charles ever speak about something about discomfort or being worried?
Yeah, stressed, right?
And, yeah, Nancy said yes and started to elaborate, but the judge said, no, that's okay, that's enough. You know, you don't need to say anything more. So would have been fascinating. They didn't have any questions for Christina, the final witness, but had Lori crossed her, maybe they would have had. We just don't know.
Wow. I know you got things to do. You got a show to work on, and I bet you're relieved that you're not on that witness stand taking these questions.
Yeah, I would be fascinating to know what Lori does want to ask me, but no, I don't want to do it in court, and I want to be in the courtroom reporting. So I'm glad I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so for everyone watching, I mean, you know where you can find Nate Eaton on East Idaho News, and every night he has his courtroom insider, and I am happy to push that because you have been nonstop every morning, early until the night. I don't know when you get sleep, and you're obviously not in your own bed, and I know you're liking this Arizona weather and just how proceedings they seem to be organized and taking place for you in there.
It says it's 103 degrees right now on my phone.
Oh, wow. It did heat up today.
It's April. Tell your weather guy to bring it down a notch.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it got hot this week, and we've been inside hanging out, so we wouldn't know. But, hey, man, I appreciate you, and we hope to talk to you soon and get a little bit of rest.
All right, sounds good. See ya.